The sub 1.4 million peso small crossover category is one of the most hotly contested in the Philippine market. At this price range, you have a lot of excellent options from Chinese brands.
But for those who'd rather have something from a more established mainstream brand, there is this. This is the Hyundai Creta. Is it worth your money? Let's find out.
Hyundai tends to name their vehicles after places, like the Hyundai Santa Fe and the Hyundai Tucson. The Creta is no exception. It's named after Crete, which is an island in Greece. Why it's named after that, I have no idea. But like an island, it's pretty small in the grand scheme of things. It's about 4.3 meters long, about the size of a Yaris Cross, a lot smaller than the Ford Territory, but a lot bigger than the Kia Sonet and the Toyota Yaris. Here in the Philippines, it comes in 4 variants, which range in price from 1.04 million pesos to 1.38 million. In this video, we're going to focus on the most expensive variant, the GLS. Let's first talk about the styling. While I feel like the mainstream Japanese brands like Toyota have been very safe and non-experimental when it comes to their styling, the Koreans are taking a more adventurous path. The Creta's styling is a bit polarizing. Not everyone's gonna like it, but you can tell that effort was made to make it stand out.
The Hyundai Creta has a very distinct look to it. You won't mistake it for anything else on the road. You have a flat-looking front end and a short front overhang. It almost looks like a little bulldog. On most cars, the lighting units and the grille are distinctly separate units. On the Creta, they kind of made them blend together. So when the lights are off, it's hard to tell where the grille ends and the lighting units begin. These 3 triangles over here are the DRLs. While at the center, you have the grille. The headlights are actually down here. At the top of the line, Creta gets LED headlights and halogen turn signals over here. It gets 17-inch polished wheels wrapped in 215 50 series Kumho tires. You get disc brakes on all 4 corners. This top of the line variant also gets a 2-tone finish. The roof and the pillars are finished in gloss black. Also, the side mirrors are finished in gloss black. They're power folding, and they also have repeaters over here. This gets a smart entry system, so you don't have to get the key out of your pocket to lock or unlock the vehicle. You just have to press this button over here.
The Creta is powered by the same engine that powers the Stargazer. It's a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine that puts out 113 horsepower and 144 Nm of torque. It can do 0 to 100 kph in 10 seconds, and it has an officially rated top speed of 194 km per hour. The rear of the Creta looks even more alien than the front. It has some of the weirdest looking taillights that I've seen on a car.
So back here, it looks like you have 4 separate lighting units per side. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and also the same on the other side. They're all LEDs. Thankfully, we don't get any fake exhaust tips over here. You get a rear wiper, rear defoggers, of course, and a rear spoiler. Now, this top-of-the-line model gets a manual liftgate. Space back here is pretty good. Underneath this false flooring, you get a full-sized spare tire. You also have some tools down there. If you need more space, you can fold the second row seats. And with all the seats folded, you have an almost flat flooring. I say almost because you have a very small lip over here.
The Creta has 416 liters of cargo space with the seats up and 1,384 with the seats down. Definitely more than enough space to fit our sponsor for today. Introducing the Atto Sport Mobility Scooter. The world's most innovative mobility scooter. It folds into a small suitcase size, and it has wheels so you can move it around like a trolley. It separates into 2 parts. It has leather seats and grips, an illuminated LCD dashboard, enhanced lighting for extra visibility, You can install optional armrests. It's perfect for seniors as it's easy to lift and unfolds in seconds. It has a maximum speed of 10 kph, shock absorbing flat free tires, high ground clearance, advanced braking system, be free to travel anywhere, land, sea or air. It has 20 kilometers of continuous driving range. Engineered with flair, designed with passion for performance. Be active, be free, be yourself. Atto Sport, moving life.
The interior of the Creta looks quite premium when you first look at it. You got this two-tone brown and black color scheme. You got a healthy amount of piano black accents. It's just the right amount to make the interior look more premium. But when you start touching things, that's when you realize that things are not exactly what they seem. For example, this looks like leather over here, but it's actually made of hard plastic. This is also hard plastic over here. This is hard plastic. This is hard plastic. But you don't really drive a car like this. What's important is that the high traffic areas, or the parts that you touch the most often, are covered in leather. Like this steering wheel over here is covered in leather. This small part of the armrest is covered in leather. This is also covered in leather right here. The seats are covered in leather. They're both manually adjustable. Now in terms of tech, the Creta is okay compared to other Japanese and Korean crossovers in the same price bracket. So you got some ADAS features here. You have lane keep assist, you have autonomous emergency braking, you have blind spot monitoring, but you don't have adaptive cruise control. You only get standard cruise control. You got an 8-inch infotainment screen. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto. Now unlike a lot of Chinese crossovers in the same price bracket, you don't get a 360 camera. Instead you get a reverse camera with active guidelines. But thankfully we got a lot of physical controls here. You got a physical volume knob, a physical tuning knob, physical knobs for adjusting the fan speed and also the temperature. By the way, this has a single zone climate control. You got a wireless phone charger over here. You have two USB ports over here and one 12-volt outlet. You have an electronic parking brake without a hold. You have a fully digital instrument cluster over here. In terms of storage, the glove box is decently sized. It's not dampened. There's a bit of storage underneath the armrest. It's not much though. You also have two cup holders here with ambient lighting. Yeah, so overall it's a pretty nice interior to look at. It's not quite as nice as the base model Ford Territory. It's not quite as nice as other Chinese crossovers in the same price bracket. But compared to Japanese crossovers in the same price bracket, I think this looks pretty good. Okay, so here at the back, space is about what you would expect from a subcompact crossover. I have decent knee room over here. The flooring is relatively flat. Headroom is quite decent. I have about 3 inches of headroom. There is no sunroof here like a lot of its Chinese competitors. You do get a foldable armrest here though with two cup holders. You also get two air con vents and one USB port over there. Okay, so we're now driving the Hyundai Creta. Now first impressions, it is pretty quiet in the cabin.
When you drive the Creta normally, it is very quiet. Noise insulation is quite good, definitely better than the Yaris Cross. When you drive it a bit more aggressively, you feel a bit of engine vibration at higher RPMs, which is usually the case for budget crossovers. It doesn't quite feel as refined as the M-Zoom at higher speeds.
Steering just has the right amount of weight to it, and there is no dead zone at the center. It feels relatively sharp for a crossover.
Compared to turbocharged Chinese crossovers in the same price bracket, the Creta is way down on power. You'll feel that difference in power when you have to overtake on the highway, but in stop-and-go traffic in the city, the IVD transmission of the Creta actually feels more responsive than the dual-clutch transmissions of its Chinese rivals.
One advantage of the Creta's CVT or IVD transmission is that it doesn't feel as jerky in stop-and-go traffic. It's easier to modulate your power at slower speeds. So you neither put too much throttle input or too little.
Hyundai's IVT transmission more closely mimics the behavior of regular automatic transmissions than regular CVTs. When you shift gears or gear ratios, the RPM goes down or up in a way that's similar to a regular automatic.
Giving it a bit of throttle. Yeah, there's still that rubber band effect, but it's not as pronounced as on other CVT crossovers. Also, when you reach the higher RPMs, around 4,000, 3,000 RPM, it doesn't feel as refined as other crossovers in the market, specifically Chinese crossovers. There is a bit of a very subtle vibration that you can feel through the cabin.
The Creta's 1.5-liter engine may not be the most powerful in its class, but it is very fuel efficient. I got an average of 21.6 kpl on the highway, and I could easily get 12 kpl in the city. Ride quality is good. It's better than the M-Zoom R-Style. It soaks up road imperfections really well, but it still feels stable even at higher speeds. It doesn't feel like you're driving a boat. While I think the Creta is more engaging to drive than the likes of the Yaris Cross, it is not a sporty crossover by any means. And it's not going to be as exciting to drive as the GAC M-Zoom R-Style. I wish it came with adaptive cruise control, as a lot of its competitors in the same price bracket have that feature. But for those who don't care so much about tech, the good driving dynamics of the Creta might make up for the lack of adaptive cruise control. The Hyundai Creta GLS sells for 1.38 million pesos. At that price, it directly competes with the Yaris Cross V. Now, the Yaris Cross V has more features like a 360 camera, adaptive cruise control, a power driver seat. The Creta, though, has better build quality and better noise insulation. It's significantly more expensive than the Kia Sonet, but the Creta is also noticeably bigger and more spacious. It is slightly more expensive than the base model territory, which has a better and much more spacious interior. It also has more features and more power. The Creta, though, is a lot more fuel efficient. So the Creta has a lot of very stiff competition. A lot of them are better in certain ways, but the Creta also excels in certain departments. If you don't want the huge size or the high fuel consumption of the Ford Territory, you don't want the creaky interior panels of the Yaris Cross, you're not yet ready to go for Chinese brands, and you prefer good driving dynamics over tech, then the Creta might be for you.